Welcome to the UFL Homer Hour. Me and Rob are going to be discussing the UFL coaching carousel that's happening around the league, go into the week 3 results, and move on to our week 4 picks next on the UFL Homer Hour. A UFL coaching change again. The Brahmas have dropped Wade Phillips. Or no, Wade Phillips quit. I should say that correctly.
It's totally a health thing. This is the least surprising one so far. The timing's terrible, but I like Peyton Party. He brought some energy, so I hope everything's going to be good with Wade Phillips, but his health's more important than spring football for someone of his stature. So I'm okay with it.
Being up at his age too, I've always been concerned about that going into when he jumped into the XFL. So I'm shocked he's gone as long as he has. But I'm with you. I think Party's actually going to be really good. He looks like he's commanding that team, bringing the new energy, and the Brahmas definitely had a better game that week.
Yeah. Fantastic on the offensive side of the ball compared to what they were doing. There were some times late in the game when they were still in it. I didn't understand why they were running in certain spots, but honestly, it may have simply been he was trying to give the defense as much time to catch their breath as possible because they suck.
They needed it. I mean, you can run against them, and we'll break down the post-game analysis in our week 3 results section. But yeah, you're absolutely right that I think he was just game planning with what he had to work with. The other big news, I don't know how big it is. He only showed up for 1 week. Was Ken Wisenhunt finally now officially stepping down and for the Memphis Showboats, the 0-3 Memphis Showboats.
He didn't even make it to the week 1 game. It was in the lead up to week 1 that he stepped back. Did he say did he say why?
We still don't have a reason why, but the shocking thing is he actually showed up week 3. And then he stepped down again.
He was on the sidelines?
Yeah, he was on the sidelines. Yeah. Well, which is fine. But yeah, it was really shocking that he even showed up again. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I think the Showboats
That's
not
weird. Just that.
I'm sorry, Rob.
Yeah. Oh well. I said at that point, just don't come back.
Agree. I think he should have just stepped down. I don't know. I think he wanted to give it a go, but he's still got those family issues over there. The other UFL news that's coming out is the St. Louis Battlehawks, surprise, got the championship game. Of course, it goes to the one with the most attendance, and I don't see anything wrong with that. What do you think, Rob?
Logic's there, but when they weren't playing in the game last year, the attendance did drop significantly from when the Battlehawks were playing. I saw a few other ideas floated out there because it's shocking to me, but they have been discussing expansion. To me, the logic would be put it in an expansion city or put it somewhere neutral, like, I don't know, Vegas or something, and then announce the expansion cities then. Don't put it in San, or have it in Arlington. It's the home base anyways. Why are you going to fly all your stuff out there? It doesn't make sense to me to have it in St. Louis unless the Battlehawks are playing, which they might be. If they play, I feel like I can list 5 different better options.
I really like your idea. I saw it on Twitter where you mentioned the expansion team and specifically Seattle, who has really good fan base. And I think that's a great way if they're going to bring the Sea Dragons back from the dead. They were in the XFL and then they got removed. I think that would be an awesome option. The only downside, I guess, is it's in Seattle and it's kind of not in the middle of the country, so you'd have to
You're gonna.
fly a lot of people
I
down.
will say that was not my idea. I retweeted it. I'm trying to scroll down and see if I can give credit to the correct person, but it's kind of buried now because I retweet a lot of things. But so not my original idea, but I do agree with it.
Gotcha. Whoever it was, I like that idea. I thought it was really interesting, and I do know the Seattle fan base. They do show up. They were one of the best ones in the XFL, and I've been saying it for a while. I want them back. I was shocked that they got removed from the XFL, so from the UFL. So I think that would have been a good option. But in the meantime, it's St. Louis. The fans do come out. If the Battlehawks play, it's going to be a packed house. That's going to be awesome. And it's perfect. It's in the middle of the nation, perfect distance across for all the fans to go to. And I don't really have a problem with it. I'm too shocked that they picked them again. I think they're just counting on one game where the Battlehawks actually make the championship. They don't even need them to win. They just need to make it to the championship, and they're going to get a good crowd on national TV.
Yeah, they will. But honestly, just bring the game to Vegas. Make the tickets dirt cheap. Make a spectacle out of it. The Rock's already there this week anyways for WrestleMania. He could have been finalizing everything. I don't know. That's just.
I think it's a good match because knowing the UFL community, we are a bunch of degenerates that like to gamble too as well. So I think that also would be playing well into just the UFL fan base. Yeah, Vegas. I think it's a good option, and it's cheap flights because they have to deal with air travel all the time. So yeah, well, why not Vegas? But maybe they'll do it 2026. They could expand. They could also expand. You got to keep that in mind. Maybe it's going to be Vegas. Didn't really work out in the XFL, but we'll see. Maybe it'll pick up. All right, so we are going to move on to the Week 3 picks and do a little post-game wrap-up of just discussing all the results. Rob, I got the results right here.
There they are.
So the first game that came out, let me get rid of our little logo. Yeah, we don't need that right now. So the first game that was played was the Renegades and Stallions. Did you get a chance to watch this? Because I've got a lot of hot takes on this.
I only caught some highlights. It didn't seem worth my time to tune in. I was following along on Twitter. I thought the Renegades had it in hand. As the frustrated Renegades fan, I will yield the floor to you.
Okay, so before we even get into the controversial call, because I'm hearing a lot of complaints, it's not just from me, and I'm complaining a lot. So I want to, I'm not the ref guy all the time. I mean, I complain a little, of course, who doesn't, but I don't want to put it as that was the end-all, be-all. The fact of the matter is, the Renegades' offensive line was terrible that entire game. Stallions' defensive line did what they do, and Luis Perez was under a lot of pressure. We couldn't run it. He did the best he could with that offense, but we could not. I mean, as soon as we got into the red zone, game over. We could not score because the field was so short. So we got a lot of problems in Renegade Nation when it comes to our offense, especially against the Stallions. But our defense did a pretty good job holding it up. Now on to the call. The UFL, if you don't know what happened, it was the last drive where the Stallions ended up taking the lead with a touchdown. And they threw, Matt Corral threw a pick in the play, okay? So he goes back into the pocket. He's under pressure. The defense did everything that they were supposed to do, and he made a mistake and threw a pick, okay? After the pick, Pereira decided to come on down and call a false start. A false start, which, Rob, as you know, is a dead ball foul, okay?
Yes, it is.
It's a dead ball foul, okay? The whole point of the play is it never happened. If you see a false start, you call it, nothing happens. That way, there's no advantageous thing that the offense can get out of it. You also, because it's a dead ball foul, don't even have the option to decline the penalty. It's an automatic 5-yard penalty because they cannot do anything. The play never happened. So, for dead ball fouls, I get the reviews. I get we want to have calls change. We just want to get the right calls during the game. But we have got to get rid of false starts. You can't retroactively go back and change the call. You can't do it. It's done. It didn't happen. You missed the call. You move on. And there were plenty of false starts all throughout the game that I spotted that at no point they wanted to jump in and review it. So why review that one? I get it. The rules say they have to do it within the 2 minutes, and they can jump in on that. But, geez, already this league has already kind of been questioned. And when you have results like that, I actually thought reffing was the best part of this league, and I was stunned that Pereira even had the guts to radio that down and take away that play. So you're the defense, okay? You did your part. You're tired after the pass rush. You got the big interception. You celebrated, as you should. And now you're telling them, hey, guys, you know this offense that you've been trying to stop time and time again, especially because your offense has just been sucking it up back there. So they're just giving them tons of possessions, especially in the second half. You have to go back out there, and you have to go do it again. Granted, it was 4th and 11, and they shouldn't have let it go, but still, you're asking a lot for a defense who did their part to make the stop. Shouldn't have been called. Terrible, terrible call. I couldn't believe Pereira did that. Okay, Rob, I'm done. There you go. There's my 5 minutes. Hopefully the Renegades move on, have a big week. And the good news is I did get within the spread as well. So at least I got that. But I'm more of a homer than a better. So I was really, really upset Friday night with that game because I thought we had him. I thought we had a chance to get the league to believe us. And then that kind of trash happened.
Yeah. That's a lot of frustration, for sure. I like, in general, how open the league is and transparent when they're making these calls. I do think instead of just a one-man decider, it should be a 3-person panel.
Okay.
Because one person that's too... It can lead to people saying, well, he wants this or he wants that. If it's 3 people all sitting there together, they still have to make their decision real quick. I think that'd be a lot better. And it would get rid of we're all still going to complain, but it would get rid of some anger for sure.
I'm not generally angered with the one guy. I think you don't want to mess it up too much. My point is dead ball fouls are off the table because the play happened. You can't go back and get it. 1 man, 3 man, 5 man, it doesn't matter. If you miss the call there, since it's a dead ball foul, you have to. It was missed, and it happens. Let's put the scenario if they made the call. It would have been 4th and 11. I would have been celebrating that they got the false start, and we wouldn't have known about this mess. But they did it after the play. You cannot do that for dead ball fouls.
I'm not disagreeing at all whatsoever. I feel like once it's happened. You got to move on.
Yeah. And I'm not going to hold on to it unless we miss the playoffs. That would really upset me. I just felt like you put that defense in a bad position, and I'm not going to say it was entirely the refs. Like I said before, the offense was struggling, and I'm not denying it. And I've got my problems with the play calling and not applying motion, play action, anything to keep that defensive line off the table because they were getting beat, Rob. They were getting beat all game long. Yeah. So, well, especially at the end. It was rough. Luis Perez was back there. He did the best he could. Yeah, I think he actually played a really good game with the little that he had to work with. But anyway, all right. Well, at least, like I said, I got the spread. I got the spread. It was within the spread, so got that going.
Yeah, we
for
both
me.
went 2-2 this week, so there's that.
Right. The next game that ended up being played was the Roughnecks Showboats. Rob, do you have any opinions on it that won't get me too?
I mean, for two crappy teams, if they could just play each other every week, they'd look better. I mean, overall, I gotta say, this is the first week I felt like I was watching football.
Mm-hmm.
Well played for the most part. Football. It was exciting. There were things happening. Look how close all of these games were. Even the ones that were sloppy, these first two that we're talking about, there was still a lot. You were still hanging on the edge of your seat, waiting for that play or that call that was going to make or break a team. So, and that was the case with really all the games, because the biggest spread, we'll get to that last game when we get to it, it was a lot closer than that score too. So It was overall, I was watching football. I was happy. Roughneck Showboats, like I said, I didn't even, I was doing other things. I wasn't worried about watching that one. I'm like, I'll just learn about stuff later. And then I was like, oh, it was actually a game. And good for the Roughnecks. One of them had to win. Roughnecks got it.
Yeah, they looked a lot better, and it was the tale of the two backup quarterbacks. So it started off the game with the Roughnecks starting with Anthony Brown, and the Showboats started with E.J. Perry, who, in weird ways, they both put him in a bad position. So E.J. Perry started off hot. They got the lead and it was 11-3. Anthony Brown was being Anthony Brown, not playing well. I still think he's got a lot of talent. I think he can take that job later on down the road. I just don't think he's ready right now, though. Nolan Henderson should be your guy. So the Roughnecks were in a position they had to get Anthony Brown out, and they put in Nolan Henderson, who ended up climbing back and actually taking a pretty solid lead in the game and played very well. I got to give it to Nolan Henderson. The pass rush was starting to disappear because they were starting to get so tired by the end of the game. Nolan did his part and threaded some serious needles, especially that last touchdown pass he threw. So what did the Showboats do? Well, E.J. Perry starts throwing. He threw two picks and one just awful one. I mean, he scrambled out, just tossed one up, and we're going to talk about the Manny Wilkins one. I know that's the other one that a lot of people are talking about. But E.J. Perry, who, surprise, surprise, I think he's the better quarterback, but he ended up really messing up because he's being E.J. Perry. He just throws picks. I don't know what to tell you. And they put in Cam Williams. What does Cam Williams do? He gets a possibly game-tying touchdown, and they messed up on the 2-point conversion. So it was a really interesting game in the aspect that they're trying to figure out the quarterback situation. I think the Showboats are still confused. They don't know who to go with, E.J. Perry or Cam Williams. And the Roughnecks, it's got to be Nolan Henderson at this point because he looks like the more solid one. Last thing I will say, E.J. Perry, I think, is your guy. But this is the kind of game this is something that the Showboats actually needed. They needed Cam Williams to start after that last pick. And I remember this last year with the Michigan Panthers. E.J. Perry started off the season just like this, where he was throwing a lot of interceptions, lost his job to Etling, and then ended up getting it back and knew, I can't keep throwing picks. So I think this is going to be good for the Showboats in the long run. E.J. Perry should take that job back, and he should be a better quarterback going forward. I expect that to happen for the Showboats, but not good enough to do anything there.
Yeah. Yeah. I got
so but I'm sorry, Rob.
I said I had no extra notes there. You got it. You covered it.
Gotcha. I got to give Roughneck Nation. I know the Houston crowd well, so I wanted to let them know. I don't know that many Showboat fans, but I just wanted to, let them know. I'm tapped in, Roughnecks. I'm still watching. It's a rough season, but you guys are looking a lot better. But now we're going to our game of the week, Rob.
And it was actually the game of the week. We ended up picking the Brahmas Panthers as our game of the week by default based on our schedules. When we first looked at it, we're like, oh, it needs to be Arlington, Birmingham, or maybe DC, St. Louis. But we couldn't gather on Friday night. And then we're like, oh, the Masters is happening. We're going to be watching the Masters, and we're not going to be as focused on the DC game. So we picked the Brahmas, and oh my goodness, it was a game. Peyton Party brought the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, 10 of the defenders for the Brahmas took the week off. And so it was what it was. I think we saw the Brahmas at their absolute best, which means they're probably not winning a game this season.
Yeah, what'd you think of Kellen Mond? He looked pretty good, right?
Mond looked great. The offense had rhythm. They clearly knew what they were doing. They were more confident. I know you loved AJ Smith, but I think the switch to Peyton Party, it's through 1 week, it's working. He's connecting with the players. They have that rhythm. The only thing, as I mentioned earlier, they were running in some spots where I'm like, why are you running here? This is, unless you pop one, you don't have the time. It's not a good idea. But I think they were simply doing that because he's like, I can't run a hurry up because my defense is that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in a rock and hard place, and we're on the same page now. Bryce Perkins looked really good that game too. I think, you might be my surprise. Hint later at the end of the show when we pick our players, but Bryce Perkins looked good as well. The big one is Destroyer missing that field goal at the end there.
When there's pressure on him, we saw it in week 1. He missed, and like the kick he missed this week, he made it 1-2 yards longer earlier in the game. But when the pressure was on, it's like he overthinks it, and he just his routine changes, and he goes through it so fast. And it's like when I'm on the golf course and I just pick my head up too soon, and I'm like, oh, good job, Rob. You just shanked that. That's what that looked like. This wasn't as bad of a shank as his week 1 shank, but there were a lot of people on Twitter, on Brahma's Instagram comments early in the game. He started off 3 for 3. Without him, they're not in the game at all. Yeah. So he's still a positive, but a lot of them saying he needs his shot at the NFL. He's not ready for the NFL.
Not at all. And I feel bad for him.
Yet. I don't think his jobs. There's no reason for his job to be in jeopardy on the Brahmas at this point.
Not at all. No. He's missed 2 field goals so far this year, and those are the 2 that he missed. I just feel bad for him, and I know he kind of did it to himself, but he's a YouTube legend, and he was a celebrity heading into the season. And
they did a little hype up. The network did a little hype up with him, quick hit interview before he went out for that kick. I don't think that helped. Just like those of you that watch college football, Steve Sarkisian tried to do a little hype up to his always missing kicker in the playoff. And what'd he do? He tried to tell him he loved him. It's going to be good. Don't worry. He shanked it. You got to let kickers stay in their routine.
Yeah. I don't have much head coaching experience, but let me give you guys this one real quick. You guys don't understand kicking, head coaches, okay? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them do their thing. If they don't want to jog in practice, don't let them jog in practice. If they don't want to do certain things, don't have them do certain things.
They shouldn't be doing it. They should be spending 2 hours at practice kicking balls through uprights.
That's it. And including us, we don't know enough about kicking. Just leave the kicker alone. And I was really upset that the media really chose to give him an interview. I know they want to because he's a YouTube star.
He might be the most popular player in the league because of his YouTube following.
Yeah, I just wish maybe the head coach goes, hey, you can interview anyone on the sideline. Leave my kicker alone, though. You're not talking to my kicker right now. He's got to stay focused.
With the access that the sideline reporters and announcers and stuff have to all the teams, I don't think the head coach has any say. I think they're allowed to go up and talk to whoever, whenever. I mean, in week 1, they were doing a spoof of everyone was reading Luis Perez's book on the sideline, which I did not realize he wrote that book himself. We'll talk about that another time in another moment. But yeah, so it's the UFL does a lot of things right. Leave the kickers alone. Let them kick. Another interesting thing coming out of this, Danny Etling, he started the game. We're like, what are you doing? Bryce Perkins showed he's the guy. Sadly, Etling, they didn't say, pretty sure he was concussed. He's out. Perkins came in. He played so well. I mean, for a while, the Brahmas had adjusted to what he was doing. I said on our live broadcast, why aren't you spying on him? They started spying a little bit. They also started rushing a little quicker because it was clear that Perkins needed time to go through his progression. But then the coaches for Michigan helped him adjust, and then he was doing fine again. But news, I don't know if you saw the news, Etling is going to be out for a while. So this is Perkins' team. They actually brought in Alan Bowman, fresh from Oklahoma State. He was there for like 6 years, but he's NFL draft eligible. This year.
Interesting.
Odds are he wasn't going to get drafted. Potentially he might have ended up maybe being a 7th round pick, but in a relatively weaker quarterback class, and he's older, probably wasn't getting drafted, but I think it's smart for him. He goes to Michigan. There's a good chance, based on what we see of the Michigan coaches, Bowman might play a little bit. And if he can play and he can show his stuff, maybe that's an easier access to getting a non-draft invite to camp for an NFL team. Even if they go, well, he's already been playing, he's ready to go, let's bring him in. Does it get him on a roster? Who knows? But I think it's a smart play, and it'll get him into camp. And this could be a route that we see more players go for in the future. Not your surefire first rounders, but maybe your players that are in those middle rounds, looking to try to improve their stock once there's injuries, or those guys saying, hey, I'm worth a flyer in the 7th round.
When you brought that up, that was the first thing I was thinking of. If you're a fringe 6th round, 7th round pick, and you don't even know if you're going to get a pick, it's not a bad option. Why not join the UFL? If you end up playing bad, okay, well then try to get on as an undrafted free agent and make the team that way. But that's pretty big news, actually. Hopefully some more of that comes out. I mean, if he plays well, he's going to get drafted, right? You would think. So.
Oh, for sure. And I also would not be surprised if after the draft, there's some players that didn't get drafted, that then some of these teams, because the draft's only not far away. It's coming up before the end of the month. This season's rolling in almost into the start of June. So you can imagine that there's going to be some players that don't get drafted that see this as a way to get eyeballs, and they jump in and they grab a back end roster spot where it's needed in the UFL.
Just get it. Yeah, and it does suck about Etling. I never wish injuries on him. I wanted Bryce Perkins to win the job fairly,
But he shouldn't have been in the game. That being said, he started off fine till he got rocked.
If it was Coach Nick and Rob, Etling would still be fine.
Yeah. He did start off okay, but he was playing the Brahmas defense. My goodness. Except for, I don't have it up on the screen right now, except for the back that got the pick 6, right as I was yelling in the live stream about how terrible their defense was, and then I jokingly said they have a great defense. This game never felt like it was a 3-point game.
No.
It did.
Oh, yeah, because of the big pick 6, like you just said, right?
One player flashed one moment. Otherwise, my goodness, I don't know what you do how you motivate that defense. Hell, cut half of them and bring 10 new guys in. I don't know. Like, they're so bad. It's like they don't. But even then, the comedy of errors in the last 5 minutes by the Brahmas, all mental mistakes, both on offense and it's like, y'all don't want to win.
Your favorite player, Harris, showed up again.
Oh, cut him. I know he's their leading receiver, He's got to also be their league leader in drops.
He can get open. He can't do the important part.
He can't get open. He's like the kid in Mighty Ducks 2 that can skate real fast, but he can't stop.
Can't stop though. Yeah, can't catch the ball. It's kind of an important part.
I'd love to see that. Let's see it change because he can get open. Get some extra stickum on that on those gloves. I don't know. Do something.
It's funny.
He's better than me.
Every time we watch a game, I just think that I'm like, poor Rob. He really is not getting along with Harris right now, and he just has another bad game.
There's a reason why I'm not a head coach. If I was like a youth league head coach, parents would be yelling at me all the time to constantly be benching players.
Why is my kid not playing? Well, why is he not good? That'd be Rob's question.
Yeah. And then I'd get a call from the league saying it's a youth league, play everyone or get out.
Yeah, it's tough. It's that that Northeast toughness that you have. It's just quick in, out, get it figured out.
Expectations. Hit the expectations or go work on it on the sidelines.
Yeah, patience is thin for you.
But honestly, I think the only chance the Brahmas have to win any game is when they're playing Houston or when they're playing Memphis.
Really? Yeah. I think
it's not the offense. That defense is going to give up 25 to 30 points every game the rest of the way, unless something drastic changes.
I've got last year's thought, and they had a good defense last year. That's why I'm just so confused by this team. I don't know what happened. It's just not good. It's just not good. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. By the way, you mentioned the media on the sideline, and it just popped in my head. Do you think Bill Belichick would love how the UFL handles with the media on the sideline, being able to talk to everyone?
He wouldn't care because he'd let his 24-year-old girlfriend run the show. And he'd be like, I'm just doing my thing. Hell, that girl got him dressed up as a fisherman, reeling her in as a mermaid for Halloween photo shoot for Instagram. Bill Belichick is living his best life. He don't give an F. She's in charge. In non-UFL news, it was all over social media and a lot of sports shows when they saw her in her Carolina blue jacket and her white boots marching out and putting something on Bill during practice, and everyone's like, what's she doing? Control her. She runs social media for UNC. She's 24. That makes sense. She's a lot more qualified than Bill is, that's for sure. She's getting a mic pack set up on him to film some content. Good for both of them.
The underrated part of the video, that one that you were talking about, was the fact that Bill Belichick was wearing capris.
He doesn't dress himself anymore. There is no way.
No.
She dresses him.
She commands it. He probably needs it.
Any man that is in his 70s and single would not be complaining if they were dating a 24-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, the give and F meter usually goes down by the time you're in your 70s. So you need that woman to keep that motivation.
If that's happening, you have a lot of money. So good for her.
I hope mine's gone by then. I'll tell you that. So we got the big game that everyone was rooting on. They were talking about it, and ratings-wise, this was actually shocking. The DC Defenders against the Battlehawks, so everyone was going into it expecting a great game. Going against the Masters and still got 1 million, Rob. And then the game itself was
I was one of them. It was on my phone. I was like, I pulled it up and I'm like, oh, what? I was like, I had it on my phone against my water bottle, and I'd look up if I heard the words Rory or Bryson. I was watching this. It was so good. Also, I know you haven't been the biggest Jordan Tiamu fan. He won me over. He looked like an NFL quarterback.
I've got my thoughts on him. He does have an NFL arm. I'm not denying that. My only complaint
He's got a lot of rust, but he was putting it together. My goodness, those defenders, they justified me being like, that's my upset team. That's my league pass team. Shannon Harris, coach of the year right now. Tiamo at the moment has to be MVP frontrunner.
Right now, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that right now. But
your king only put up 9 points, so.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. He can win it or not. He's just a game manager, so I'm not too. I don't. Luis Perez, whether he wins it or not, doesn't matter. He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback and a better one than Te'amu. My problem with Te'amu is simply this: if he does not have the play action, and Fred Kice knows this, he's not that good. And he did throw some bad picks in that game. He threw 2. So there's parts of his game that I'm just like, just aggravates me. But he does have a hell of an arm, and he can zip it and zip it far.
He's a slinger. He's a gunslinger, and this league needs gunslingers. They need. Oh,
he's entertaining. I'm not denying that.
You need that.
Te'amu's entertaining.
I'm trying to scroll and find what the ratings. I thought I retweeted the ratings, but they were up across the board. That game got its million, which was unbelievable.
It was shocking.
Even the attendance figures were solid across the board. I don't know. Michigan loves to claim 10,000 while it looks like there's 3,000 in the stands. No. Memphis was very honest. 4,000. Why is there a team in Memphis?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They had a good showing in the USFL, but man, this is not a good team, fans-wise. And Memphis
I don't think if they gave away free tickets, they'd get to 10K that walked in the door.
And Memphis had the Titans for a second. People forget that, and they didn't show up for that either. So they can't even handle an NFL team. Why are they trying to handle a UFL team? Like, I just don't think the fans care over there. And
it's not a sports town.
No.
It's got their biggest college is Memphis, and they have a good basketball team and a football team that occasionally can make some noise on a national level. Occasionally.
Yeah, and the Memphis,
and I do have I've got those. I pulled up those viewership numbers. Arlington, Birmingham on Fox Friday night, 682,000. I'm cool with that. That's AEW Talking Wrestling wishes they could get that any night of the week.
Friday night too. That's not a good time. That's not a good time slot. So for us to pull that off is amazing.
I don't reiterate UFL next year. Go Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I think your ratings will.
Awkward scheduling, but it would go.
In the fall, who doesn't love the Maction?
How about Monday and Tuesday? We can agree on that.
Yeah, no, that works too. Those off days, you're just competing against baseball. Baseball is 162 games a year times 30 teams. That's fine. All right, so
I heard Rangers fan. I chose UFL over the Rangers because, like you said, I got 162 of these things. I'll tap in when they're like an ongoing train that you just hop on and hop off.
Exactly. You check in. You follow your day. Like I follow my fantasy every day, but other than that, yeah. All right. So the worst viewed game of the week: Houston, Memphis, 295,000.
Middle of a Saturday, too, which is going to be our game.
Exactly. The one game I don't understand the UFL scheduling. I think I could get them better ratings just with how I would want to try to schedule it. But then we got Michigan, San Antonio. We were one of them, 719,000. And then DC St. Louis up against insane competition. The second 9 of the Masters. Don't want Augusta to yell at me. 967,000 is the official number. 1.4 million was the peak viewership. And I ended up being one of those on my phone, and I was glued to it. That last quarter, I was watching football, quality football from 2 teams.
And when you were texting me about the game, I was watching the Masters, and then I watched a replay of the game, later in the week because I was just focused on the Masters. I was so excited Rob, because I was like, I think he's getting it. I think he's getting what this league can do. I will say
more of that.
Yeah.
Hell, more of the San Antonio Michigan game.
You just want good football.
More of that. I think Arlington and Birmingham, you saw that was a lesser version of LSU versus Bama from 15 years ago.
3/4 of bad football, but it was an entertaining ending with the controversy, especially.
Yeah, I don't want to see those two teams play each other again.
Look at their number. We got a lot of work on, but I can actually see the Renegades improving a lot. What you're going to see is what's happening now.
I think the Renegades are, when we talk power rankings, like I think big picture, the Renegades are a better team than the Stallions.
Yeah, but one thing that you're going to see in the UFL is that the offenses are going to get better. They are going to get better towards the end of the year.
Are in most of the games.
Yeah, it just takes a little time. I mean, look, and think about it. You're an offensive lineman. You have to follow your gap assignments. You have to be in unison with the team. The receivers need to hit these certain routes. If you're a defensive lineman, even if you're in the wrong spot,
you're just going downhill.
Go get the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
Go downhill, get the quarterback, back up, block. So do they need to revamp how they're doing? Are they cheaping out on their preseason to pay the players less? Do they need to be doing a more intensive preseason to get us off the ground and running? Because the problem is trying to bring in new fans. I love that we're going up in viewership. This is great. Mm-hmm. We're all surprised because typically it starts high and goes low. Mm-hmm. They started at a rough time, so I think that's why we're seeing the numbers go up. But you try to bring in those new viewers. Oh, new league, let me check it out, spring football. They watch those first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For the most part, why are you coming back? Unless you were in stands in D.C. or in the stands in St. Louis. Why are you coming back?
The quality just gets better. I think a lot of people forgot the UFL was coming back. That was another thing. And then they're like, oh, crap, UFL's on, so now they're starting to pay attention. But the product's going to get a lot better. I do know that. It's good football. Towards the end, when the offenses start clicking, it turns into really, really, really good professional football. The only thing I wanted to add with the DC Defenders and Battlehawks game is Manny Wilkinson. Yeah.
Where's start? Dugan's better, more upside. Put him in.
Who? Manny Wilkins?
No, Max Dugan. Bring him in.
Oh,
get Manny out of there. Manny is a poor man's Luis Perez. Get him out of there. Bring in Max Dugan. Hell, Rock. Throw $100,000 at Nico from Tennessee. Get him to come on over. Yeah, he's already losing a ton of money because he was dumb and left Tennessee. Unless you have some sort of age rule, bring him over. Let him play for you.
I like Manny. I do. And I was really upset with what happened at the end. He played an all right game. He threw one big pick. He did throw a big pick in the beginning of the game. And I was like, oh, geez, that's weird. Dude, those last 2 turnovers were awful. And I think a lot of credit does have to go to the DC Defenders defensive line. I think that's the best. Defense. They're the best defensive line in the league. And
I would run through a wall for Shannon Harris. I would run through a wall for him.
Yeah, and you can tell that team wants to too. So that pass rush was fine. They like to blitz, but they don't always have to. You have a 4-man rush, you should be able to do well.
Just leave the door open, you're going to get murdered.
Megan, we might have picked that up. My wife just got home. I left the door open for her. Anyways, carry it.
I could probably crop it out, Rob. But it was a big game. The Battlehawks didn't pull through. It looks like they're going to have a little bit of struggle. This is a big rivalry, and it's only going to get bigger as the season goes on. We got the power rankings over here.
Let's talk power rankings.
And I do want to be clear, this is the UFL media, hence that little symbol right over there.
We're going to talk about our differences for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So we got the DC Defenders as number 1, Battlehawks, Birmingham Stallions, Renegades, Panthers, Roughnecks, Brahmas, and the Showboats. Rob, what do you think of that order?
Mostly right. I got the Defenders at number 1 for sure. I mean, they're 3-0 and they've earned it. They beat Birmingham. They beat St. Louis. Anyone that wants to drop them off the 1 slot is just trying to get reaction on social media. They are the number 1 team until proven otherwise. Battlehawks, number 2 for sure. I know the final score had Birmingham winning. I'm going to flip 3 and 4. I think in the long run, I think Arlington's the 3rd best team. Birmingham's 4th. The Panthers, I think, are still on the outside looking in of that top 4. Their defense, I feel like their defense shouldn't have given up as many points to the Brahmins as they did, but good for the Peyton Party and company. I'm going to go Roughnecks at 6. That's a good spot for them.
Interesting.
And then I think the Showboats defense is better than the Brahmas, and I'm cranky at the Brahmas defense. So Brahmas prove me wrong otherwise. Brahmas go to the basement. Memphis Showboats, even though you have no fans going to your games, you get number 7 for now.
That is insane. Yeah, I think we're going to disagree with the bottom, but who cares about the bottom, right? Because who's going to make it to the playoffs anyway, right? I'm actually with the UFL media. I kind of like this. The DC Defenders, number 1. There's no arguing. They beat the best. Battlehawks, Stallions, I'm with it. I'm okay with them being ahead of the Renegades because they did win the game, cheated, but they won. They won, and I'm going to give it to them. But flipping it, I don't see a problem with that either, though, because honestly, it was such a close game.
That's a coin flip, all of them. Yeah.
And the Stallions have a lot of problems on offensive line, so I don't know how good of a team this team really is. I'm really curious what they're going to do.
I will say, whoever it was that gave the Stallions a first-place vote after that game and also losing outright to the Defenders, unless you write for the Birmingham Times, what the hell? And even then, come on.
Were you following Ducky? Do you follow him?
I do, yes.
He's a troll.
You think that's who that first place vote is?
I just have a gut feeling. I like watching him. I like actually watching him. He's like NBA Centel for the UFL. It's kind of neat. But keep an eye on him. He's tricky. I'm a fan, though. I like Ducky, but he's a strange one. Pretty sure he's a troll. He gave me a wink on when I questioned one of his power rankings, so pretty confident. He's just trying to cause problems, which is funny. I'm okay with it.
He might be right at the end of the season, but he's not right now.
Yeah, and it could just be a projection at the end of the season. Maybe Ducky's not, but I'm still a little up in the air, but I think he's a troll. I like his account, but I think he's a troll. So then the Michigan Panthers, yeah, clearly number 5. I actually have the Roughnecks still at number 7. I know they beat the Showboats, but the one team they beat, the worst team, I think, in this league. So I don't see any improvement for the Roughnecks. I say they go down to 7. I do know the UFL media guy, one of the main ones that are just there. I think it's Ace, is part of the UFL media. I bet you he pushed the Roughnecks to the top. He's a big Roughneck fan. And then I got the Brahmas at 7 because they put up such a good fight against the Panthers. I mean, I think they belong. They belong just below the Panthers out there. Roughnecks could beat them.
Half their team put up a fight.
And they played away, and they have a new coach. And last year, it's stuck in my head. I got to get it out, but I've got the Brahmas maybe shaking it up a little later on down the season.
Yeah.
So those are my results. So tell us what you guys think. If you have any opinions, if we're right, if we're wrong, feel free to jump in and let us know. Hey, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure you'd be right when it comes to me on these things. The next thing that we got is we're going to be making our week 3. Rob? Oh.
There I am.
Sorry, lost you, Rob. So we've got the week 4 picks coming in. Let me do everyone a favor here and get rid of that banner. Actually,
Hi, banner.
see you later, banner. There it goes. And there you go. We got the.
I don't like how big. Well, we'll get to that last game, but I don't like how big that number is. Anyways.
Yeah, a little shocking. So we got the Memphis Showboats against the Michigan Panthers, and the Michigan Panthers are at an 8.5. Vegas is counting on this Bryce Perkins thing. I think with that thing out of the way, they're saying Bryce Perkins, pretty good.
Yep.
Memphis Showboats defense, not so much.
Let me get my notes up so we can make our picks. And I can record them.
Gotcha. So I guess I'll make the first pick over here. So you got the Memphis Showboats against the Panthers, and I got to tell you, I think the Showboats have a lot of problems going on right now. The Ken Whisenhunt thing is really causing issues. It is a revenge match. You got EJ Perry trying to take
back on the sideline for a game and then quit.
Yeah, and I think that's just causing such issues already with them. 8.5 is a lot of points in the UFL. I think the Michigan Panthers are going to beat the Showboats by more than 8.5. I think the Showboats have a lot of problems. They don't even know which quarterback they're probably going to go with. Panthers are sitting pretty with Bryce Perkins, and their defense is still going to be so good. Doesn't matter which quarterback they put out there. He's going to have a tough time against that front seven. Give me the Panthers to beat the 8.5.
Yeah, Memphis is a miserable mess. I know they're going to be on the road to Michigan, so that'll help. But it seems like Whisenhunt showed up and stirred up a bunch of shit. Like he kicked the hornet's nest and ran away.
Right.
They don't really have a good quarterback. I think the Panthers, I think the Panthers can score 30 plus on this team. I don't know if the Showboats can score 10 or anything. So yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we're going to be in the same position there. The next one could be the St. Louis Battlehawks. This is going to be the game of the week, right? Saturday at 11. Battlehawks versus the Renegades, which is exciting. That's my team. I've got
essentially a pick 'em at 1.5.
Yeah, no, this isn't a question for me. I don't care. Stats, Manny Wilk, I don't care. I'm going Renegades. They're going to get the 1.5, and they're going to get the win because they need to get the win. And I don't know, maybe the UFL owes us one after such a BS game last week.
All right, Renegades lose by less.
And it will be our game of the week. So if you guys actually want to tune in and watch, we're going to be live on X, live on YouTube. Feel free to jump in, try to watch it with us, drink your coffee in the morning, and enjoy a really good game. This is going to be exciting.
And you never know when we're going to break live local news on the podcast.
Yeah.
As we did last week, as we heard a loud noise, I gotta watch it back and see if the noise got picked up by the mic. But we're like, whoa, what was that? What's going on? I'm like, oh, probably a truck or something. No, about 18 miles away, a house exploded.
Everyone was fine. That's why I can laugh. But
everyone's a. There was I don't know if those of you, if you go ahead and Google it, like there's Ring camera footage. The explosion looks straight out of a movie. I don't know how there was a human being in that house that was pulled out alive.
It was crazy. I'm not going to support explosions happening during our live broadcast.
No.
But if they do, me and Rob will be on the scene.
We'll break the news. And I did make sure to check back for updates as it went. Austin Twitter's good at that. The Austin Fire Department posted updates. I relayed them to our live and very interested audience, I would hope. But yeah, we'll be topical as things happen. That being said, Battlehawks. Especially if you tell me that Max Dugan's going to play. Battlehawks.
Man, I don't know. I think that Arlington defense is going to stop them, but we'll see. It's going to be a good game, and I'm really excited about watching it. The following one after that is going to still be a Saturday game, late night. Well, late night for UFL standards, 6 p.m. You got the Birmingham Stallions over at the Houston Roughnecks. Stallions only have 7.5. Rob,
Aren't they averaging like 12 points a game?
Yeah, and they're going up against a really good defense too. You have to keep that in mind.
And the one coach of all the coaches in the league like 2 weeks before the season started, that if the media, if anyone following was going to pick a coach, that would have been the first gone. It would have been the Roughnecks coach.
You would think he's still alive.
There's 3 others gone. He's still there.
Well, and another thing about this game is last year, one of the weird upset wins that happened, the Roughnecks, who was the worst team in the league last year, beat the Stallions, who only had 1 loss on their record. So that was it against the Roughnecks. So I don't even know if they match up well against them.
Yeah, I'm going to say that just because the Stallions haven't proved they have a steady offense, and the Roughnecks have proved they're going to lose, but they're going to play to their competition, I think the Roughnecks cover the 7.5.
I'm with you. I saw that spread. I think it's way too much for the Birmingham Stallions. If their offensive line continues doing what they've been doing all year long, they're going to have the same issue against the Houston Roughnecks. So who knows? I wouldn't be shocked if the Roughnecks could pull through. Nolan Henderson is running quarterback. He's kind of more of a pizzazz guy. So even with pressure in the pocket, he can maybe move around and get some action done. So I wouldn't be too shocked if even the Roughnecks pulled up, but I am almost guaranteeing the Stallions will not be able to cover the 7.5 points.
Yeah. This next one, I wish this line was at like 4. It'd be a lot easier. The Defenders are winning. The Defenders are winning the game. Oh, my phone started typing out everything I was saying. The Defenders are winning this game. I don't know if they're winning by 7.5. I'm going to say the Defenders. The Defenders cover the 7.5. Defenders win by 8 or more.
I'm with you. DC Defenders just do not match up well. The San Antonio Brahmas do not match up well with the DC Defenders. The Brahmas cannot stop the run at all. It looks pathetic. And that's what the bread and butter of the DC Defenders. If Te'amu has the run, game over. He's going to be the best quarterback in the UFL if he has the run. You have to stop the run. So I think this is going to be a landslide. DC Defenders should be able to beat the 7.5. And I'm rarely confident when the spread gets this bad, but I'm just thinking matchup. Matchup-wise, this isn't good. This isn't a good matchup for those San Antonio Brahmas. I don't want them to go 0-4. They have good fans, but I think they're going 0-4, Rob.
And one trend that we have noticed is the lines. We make these picks on Wednesday or Thursday, and the lines move a lot. I think the Battlehawks may end up favored by 3, or they might just call this a straight pick 'em. I could see it going either way. Mm-hmm. I think the Showboats Panthers line comes down before kickoff. I think that's more of a 5 or 6 point line. Just because. And I definitely see the Stallions Roughnecks line. That could shrink by 3 points by the time all the money comes in.
I think so. I think
and
that one
as Defenders, that could drop to a 6 point line depending on how all the bets come in.
I'm thinking the opposite. I think that DC Defenders line is just going to keep going up.
I think a lot of people are going to say, wait a second. Are they going to get too confident going into this game?
I'm going 9.5 at the end of this thing. I think it's going to get to 9.5.
For me, I have a hard time betting against the spread. I'm not good at that. When I'm in Vegas, I'm always betting the money line. I'm not betting against the spread. Or I'm either betting the money line, or I'm betting unders, or both. That's what I like to do. So betting against the spread's been a challenge for me, but so far throughout the season, Nick, you are ahead. you are 7-5 against the spread. I am 6-6 against the spread. Going into week 4. And then right now we agree on the Panthers. We agree on the Roughnecks and the Defenders. So our game of the week is going to be how you either get 2 games up on me or I tie it up going into the next week.
So our game of the week is going to be an important one over there. I hate betting on my teams and having more on the line than my own Homer fandom. So if we lose that game, I'm going to be really upset. But I'm still a little sports numb with the whole week. By the way, Rob, I'm sacrificing a lot over here. Okay, I am missing the Dallas Maverick play-in game to do this podcast.
You want them to lose, right?
I don't even want to give them. I don't want to give them ratings. So
I mean, yeah. Let's see. Right now, where are we at? The Mavericks are up by 20.
Son of a
68-48. It's still the first. The Mavericks are going to score over 70 points in the first half.
They don't have enough firepower to continue that, so I'm not going to. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about them. I'm so mad at them right now.
And then the Heat crushed the Bulls. So.
Yeah.
But even if the Mavericks win tonight, they still got to do one more play game against Memphis. So I don't think they get by Memphis.
I'm on a complete NBA protest. I don't even want to watch Western.
But
Eastern
if the Mavericks want to go on an epic run and make the West Finals and go up against the Lakers,
no. Well, if they're going against the Lakers, they're going against the Lakers.
Live streaming for the world, all the games, all 4 games in that Lakers sweep victory. Just focused on your face throughout the entire series.
If somehow miraculously that happens, and I don't think it will, we don't even have Kyrie.
Kyrie's done. You don't.
So
you have Anthony Davis until he probably. We don't know what happened, but I assume he broke 12 bones in this game. So.
I would watch it just for Luka because I would want him to stop us, our Mavericks. There, you have it on tape. I want Luka to beat us if that was the case because I think
Luka's going to be playing the Celtics in the finals the second year in a row.
Should have been dragging the Dallas team. Anyway, all right, we're done. We're not talking Mavericks anymore. I am so upset about it.
I will say one other sports thing. Rory visibly vanquishing every demon that ever existed for him over the course of 6 holes. Wow, was that theater. From 13th through 18th. Yeah, 6 holes. I did it right. I counted on my fingers. For 6 holes, that was must-see everything. And Justin rose to the occasion. That being said, once he realized he was close to the lead, he iced himself out on a putt. A very makeable putt that he overthought for the point where I was sitting there I wanted to call clock on him like it was a poker game. Let's go. It's a 5-foot putt. And then he pushed it. Turns out had he made that putt, he probably wins in regulation. But everyone in the top 4 or 5 had a lot of moments where if they had just done something, they could have had it. Rory, one of the most deserving winners we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it was an awesome match, and I'm really happy for Rory McIlroy. I've, got no ill will towards him, so it's nice that he finally got the Grand Slam. The last part of our podcast that we like to do because of it was your idea, and I love it. We've got the week's best, the week's worst, and the biggest surprise of the week. Rob, who do you got?
All right. And I know we're running a little long-ish, so you want me just to fire off all 3? You want to go back and forth? How do you want to do it?
Well, we can go back and forth. I've already got my best of them if you're ready.
Let's go worst first. All
okay.
right. I'm not going to pick a single player. I'm going to pick every person that plays defense on the Brahmas plus Nico Harris.
Thank you. Love it.
Done. Worst.
So the worst that I've got going on right now is where's Hakeem Butler? Am I crazy? Is he injured? Did I miss that or something? Where is Hakeem Butler?
I don't know.
Like, any news on
Let's
this?
see. Let me throw a quick search in while we think.
Yeah, I don't get it, dude. Hakeem Butler was the 2024 Player of the Year for UFL. He was amazing, and I don't see him. Am I missing something? They re-signed him.
He had I think he's been out. He had an Instagram post a week ago that said "See you soon."
Okay. So maybe that's it. I was just watching the highlights of the game, and I just couldn't see him. But so I got to be fair to Hakeem Butler over there. I'm just gonna say then the worst was Renegades offensive line. I don't care that you're playing against the Stallions. That was awful. I want to also mix up the play calling. When you know you're physically mismatched, you got to do something different. You got to start running no huddle, play action. Rob hears me complain about this all the time. You got to change it up and get the defense confused a little, just a little. It doesn't take much. Just save them 0.25 seconds. So I would go David, the offensive coordinator for the Renegades, and then and the offensive line in general. It was just a bad game all around. The best that I got is our guy, the guy that I've been propping up since the beginning of the year. I'm going Bryce Perkins. He had a hell of a game last week. He looked like he shelled out, played a really good game, and he was pretty tough to stop. Love it. Finally, player of the week, Bryce Perkins.
Agreed. Bryce Perkins. I'll give it there. Because I could have, Bryce Perkins. It was awesome. Hopefully he's not giving way to Alan Bowman anytime soon. But if he is, smart move by Alan Bowman.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to give that up. Bryce Perkins is commanding that offense is doing pretty well. So, Rob, who do you have as your biggest surprise?
Well, we're going to go back to that Brahmas game. I'm not going to pick a player here. I'm going to pick Peyton Party. This guy was a special teams coordinator a week ago. AJ Smith and the Watchers get fired or leave or something. I don't know. Even more interesting with Wade Phillips now stepping down due to health, that AJ Smith's gone. I wonder if AJ Smith's sitting there saying, if it was all his decision, damn it, I should have waited a week. But next thing you know, and you watching the live stream with us, we're like, what in the world? I know Peyton Party's news, but why aren't we showing Wade Phillips? Because we're not listening to it, because we're talking to y'all, and we don't want Fox to yell at us for picking up the broadcast. And we'll do better at checking Twitter and stuff in our next game of the week. Turns out sick for the second week in a row. Wade Phillips made the trip, but he stayed in the locker room the whole time. So from there, extremely unsurprising that he was the next coach to stop coaching in the UFL. I hope for his sake his health is good and he can recover from whatever's going on. But Peyton Party, he was bringing energy. He was bringing excitement. Everything but a functional defense. But Wade Phillips couldn't do that, and that was Wade Phillips. So biggest surprise, Peyton Party. I want to see what he can do the rest of the way. And if he can get 2 or 3 wins out of this team, he's probably their head coach next year.
I love it. I think that's a really good surprise pick. I'm going to go a little different here just because they finally won a game. I'm just going to say the Houston Roughnecks offense actually put some points on the board and looked pretty good that game. So give me Nolan Henderson's run. Biggest surprise, I guess I could say Nolan Henderson, even though I've been picking him for a while. I've been saying he's the guy. Nolan Henderson taking over that game and winning it. So got the Houston Roughnecks offense. That's my biggest surprise. Congratulations, guys. You won that thing.
They got their win. Next chance is going to be against the Brahmas.
Yeah, they might have lost their first-round draft pick, but, we'll see.
That's fine.
That's fine. All right, guys. So that is it for me and Rob. Please like and subscribe. If you guys ever have any comments, please post it on Twitter. But in the meantime, we'll see you later.
Join us Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be fun, guys.